My intro won't work. I don't know what happened there. Welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today's the 24th of January, 2018. We have a lot of news to cover.
We're not going to get through it all. There's just so much going on. And yesterday I was like kind of watching what was going on. There wasn't really
well, we've had the shutdown, and then it's come back alive, and the government. Then we had the school shooting yesterday, which was awful. We've got the DACA kids protesting at Schumer's house. I mean, it's just a massive amount of news.
Not to mention things still going on in Europe. Every day there's another crazy migrant, robbing somebody, and somebody catches it on tape or something like that. We're gonna spend about an hour or so with you guys, and we're gonna get through what we can. And
so she says it'll probably be 2.
We'll see. But first off, the secret society thing. I mean, we've been talking about the deep state. We've been talking about secret societies,
and then the memo
for years. And released the memo came out, and then there's like some sort of informant. All right. So I want you to listen here to Senator Ron Johnson. It says that he is an informant confirming the secret society that was mentioned in the texts between Strzok and Page. There are missing 50,000 text messages, by the way. Quinn's there. I'll make sure we have plenty of volume here for the senator.
Society, we have an informant that's talking about a group that were holding secret meetings off-site. There's so much smoke here. There's so much suspicion.
Let's stop there. A secret society, secret meetings off-site of the Justice Department.
Correct.
And you have an informant saying that.
Yes.
So there we have that. Now I want to take you to Trey Gowdy here, and
he's got some floofy hair today. Look at that. It's really
John Ratcliffe. Yeah. So the way that they talk, the way that Ratcliffe talks, is like there's a lot of information here. We can't really explain it away.
Again, it's a strange coincidence. Just as it's possible that these text messages that are missing, perhaps they really were lost. Perhaps it is another strange coincidence. The problem, Martha, is for former prosecutors like Chairman Gowdy and myself that worked at the department and worked with the FBI, it makes it harder and harder for us to explain away one really strange coincidence after another. Look, the point, I think, with respect to the issue of bias that Chairman Gowdy mentioned before, we knew that Strzok and Page had an intense anti-Trump bias. And that's okay so long as they check it at the door and do their job. But we learned today in the thousands of text messages that we reviewed that perhaps they may not have done that. There's certainly a factual basis to question whether or not they acted on that bias. We know about this insurance policy that was referenced in trying to prevent Donald Trump from becoming president. We learned today about information that in the immediate aftermath of his election, that there may have been a secret society of folks within the Department of Justice and the...
Go figure. You mean Alex Jones is right? There really are secret societies?
And there's chemicals in the water turning the frogs gay. It's true. It's all true.
Page and Strzok that would be working against him. I'm not saying that actually happened, but when folks speak in those terms, they need to come forward to explain the context with which they use those terms.
When you say there's a secret society, then they're meeting on the side to try to undermine President Trump. That's what they mean. But I'm not saying that that's what happened. But they need to come forward and explain yourself, Johnny. All the cookies are missing. Did you eat them?
It was the dog.
And explain yourself.
Does make you wonder. Again, it's a strange coincidence. Just as it's possible that these text messages that are coming president, we learned today about information that in the immediate aftermath of his election, that there may have been a secret society of folks within the Department of Justice and the FBI, to include Page and Strzok, that would be working against him. I'm not saying that actually happened, but when folks speak in those terms, they need to come forward to explain the context with which they use those terms.
Explain the context in which you use the term secret society.
You know what's going to happen when they go to
explain the context,
those terms, they're going to have to lie.
It's called lying out your teeth.
Yeah,
lying out your teeth.
The obvious and public lies of the Dems and the deep state piling up, and now too numerous and threatening for even the national left-wing media to ignore altogether. We're at the point we feared we might be. There is an all too clear requirement to determine the full extent to which the FBI, the DOJ, and Special Counsel's Office have been compromised.
Ain't no one left to investigate. That's our problem right now. I was thinking about this as we were walking today, right?
Yeah.
And all the Congress people are coming forward saying, hey, we want this 4-page memo to get out to the people, right?
Even though it was 100 pages.
Well, they got it down to 4 pages.
I'm just saying.
I know. They want this 4-page memo out because they want people to read it and they want people shocked about it. And at first I'm like, well, if there's criminal wrongdoing,
then why aren't they already investigating? Why isn't action already being taken against the parties that are within the memo?
because the investigators need to be investigated, all of them.
Exactly.
Everyone and all the top brass. You'd have to get the low-level guy punching numbers at the FBI and, you know, make him director of the FBI. You have to go grab any lawyer off the street and make him attorney general. Anybody.
Lee and I were talking about on a dog walk today about Jeff Sessions.
Jeez.
They must really have something on that man that seems so calm and quiet and innocent. But what needs to happen, and Leah had suggested this
is a great idea.
Trump just needs to say to Sessions, listen,
you're
better. You're an okay guy.
As a senator.
But I need you back as a senator.
You know what? Just say, I need you to go get your seat back in Alabama.
Yep.
So I'm going to relieve you of this duty to which you're just not cut out for.
Yeah.
When God cut the cloth for Attorney General,
you ain't it.
It don't fit.
No,
Jeff Sessions.
No.
When every single government agency is corrupt that investigates corruption, even the special counsels, the Department of Justice needs to be investigated.
I like
the
when they
FBI
get a
needs to be investigated.
special counsel, and then they get a second special counsel. Now we need like a fourth or fifth or sixth.
Even Trey Gowdy and all these people are asking for a second special counsel, which is fine. But if the people that need to be investigated are going to be the ones doing the investigation.
Yeah, see,
how
they need to recuse themselves to the point of actually stepping down from
There's
their job.
nobody in those positions to do any investigations.
Yeah.
We need local cops or something. Get the NYPD on it. Jeez.
I think you would the one Washington
and corrupted. We've learned in the past 2 weeks that corruption is pervasive. It is deep and it is determined. To me personally, it's sad that so far as we know that droves of rank-and-file special agents and attorneys at Justice and the FBI haven't stepped forward to reveal the extent of that corruption. Anti-Trump FBI officials Peter Strzok and Lisa Page in their text communications wrote of a, quote, secret society within the Justice Department and the FBI. That society served not only by its members, but those within the department who've remained silent throughout. How strong is the...
I had a question. Do they drink baby blood?
Oh, for crying out loud.
Corruption within the FBI? The FBI informed Congress that it lost 5 months of post-election text messages between the two colleagues and lovers. The two were later removed from the special counsel.
Even our wonderful president said, them lovers, them FBI lovers, where's your text messages? Them FBI lovers.
Team, a team rife with obvious conflicts and politically corrupt.
It had not been fired. I don't understand this.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Of course, the man in charge of the FBI, Christopher Wray, has his own conflicts. He shared the same chief of staff as James Comey until today. Wray.
He shared
the same chief of staff as James Comey. I think that that's a conflict of interest.
There ain't nobody to run these organizations. Shut them down.
Shut them down.
We'll call it even if you just shut them all down.
You know what? Actually, shutting them down would put us in a better position than them actually running.
Yeah. Ray was actually told by Jeff Sessions to fire McCabe, and he wouldn't do it.
Ray was tied to Comey and Mueller through their Justice Department careers that spanned more than a decade and a half.
How do you think they got to the top?
Nonetheless, the White House today said the president has 100% confidence in Ray to make any necessary changes at the FBI.
That's John Kelly
Well,
speaking.
it is now obvious to all that what is needed is not mere change, but fundamental cleansing and reform. It's time to investigate the investigators and to hold the corrupt accountable.
Well
And the
said,
president, in my opinion, should appoint someone respected and honorable. There are such people left in public service, like former Attorney General Michael Mukasey, to oversee the Justice Department until it can be cleaned up. And the American people once again assured the department and the FBI are again worthy of the public trust.
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Pray. We got prayer. You have to keep your prayer to yourself.
I'm sorry. All right, I was just tweeting everything out, Facebooking it to let people know that we are live here on the Resistance Chicks channel.
Michelle's got hair.
I got hair.
Flying.
God gave it to me.
All right, so new info on the alleged secret society of the anti-Trumpers. Samsung has been blamed for the missing FBI texts.
Oh, really? You're going to blame the phone company?
The FBI blames Samsung for thousands of missing text messages as new information of the alleged secret society of anti-Trump agents emerges. President Trump slams Senator Minority Leader Chuck Schumer for reneging on the proposed deal. Wait, that's not. These are lead stories. I want more of this story. Sorry, the lead story, Samsung and the Secret Society. The FBI blamed Samsung for technical glitches that resulted in the loss of tens of thousands of text messages. But new information about an alleged secret society of anti-Trump agents within the FBI and Justice Department has raised more concerns about political bias within the embattled agency. President Trump reacted Tuesday night. Where are the 50,000 important text messages between FBI lovers Lisa Page and Peter Strzok? Blaming Samsung. The president tweeted. And then Don Jr. retweeted that. I'll show you that in a second. Earlier Tuesday, GOP lawmakers pressed the Justice Department's watchdog to explain why he did not inform them last month that the FBI failed to preserve 5 months of text messages between Strzok and Page. When they were asked for all these text messages, they weren't 5 months worth of them were gone.
And you know what? That is absolutely not possible that it is Samsung's fault. Because here's the deal. Text messages go 2 ways. So they would have had to have lost both phones or both documentations. And why
Where
is it?
Are the phones?
When you get this kind of evidence, you don't go ahead and back it up. I mean, we've been talking about these. People at Thanksgiving dinner, okay, are talking about these text messages like everyday Americans. Everyone knows they exist. And for some reason, the FBI didn't see fit to back it up.
Well, they're saying that they weren't even there to begin with.
No way. No way. No. I don't buy. Nobody buys that for half a second.
They're scrolling through their phones and 5 months or 6 months are missing.
No way.
5 or 5 months missing.
They're not missing. So
an FBI informant has informed Congress that a secret society of the FBI was holding secret meetings off-site after the election of Donald Trump. This comes from, we just told you, Ron Johnson. I'm bringing up all the latest stuff I've got for you guys. Anti-Trump secret society using burner phones to stay under the radar. The secret society that's attempting to bring down President Trump includes federal judges, former attorney generals, and one sitting attorney general of a large U.S. state, and its members are using burner phones to evade detection, according to a new report.
Now, that's believable.
On Monday, Representative John Ratcliffe, we showed you, revealed that congressional investigators learned from a new batch of text messages between, we told you that there was a secret society. That secret society doesn't just include rogue anti-Trump FBI agents, but also federal judges, federal prosecutors, one sitting attorney general of a large U.S. state, and potentially former U.S. attorney generals. They communicate with meetings over cocktails at homes via encrypted chat rooms, texting on drug cartel-inspired burner phones, and even via an email list, according to sources. Others have secured phones in the names of relatives to try to stay under the radar.
That's kind of, I feel like that is wrong. You should not do that to your relatives, putting that in their name.
The group recently became more paranoid about its communications being monitored after it became clear that the deep state plot to sabotage Trump could unravel following Peter Strzok being exposed last month. The source of these claims, a Twitter account under the name of Thomas Paine, who also runs the intelligence website True Pundit, could be easily dismissed as a crank if it were not for the fact that he exposed a secret society within the FBI a month before it was news. On December 19th, 2017, over a month before it was made public, Thomas Paine account tweeted out, what is this I hear about a private meeting away from FBI headquarters by high-ranking FBI agents trying to get their stories and alibis straight? This reference to off-site clandestine meetings was made over 4 weeks before we heard from Representative Radcliffe here. Back on November 8th, the Payne account also referenced a secret society and suggested Fusion GPS founder Glenn Simpson was a member. So I wanted to bring that to you guys. Evidence suggests a massive scandal is brewing within the FBI. And there's just, during the financial crisis, the federal government bailed out banks it declared too big to fail. Fearing their bankruptcy might trigger economic Armageddon, the feds prop them up with taxpayer cash. Something similar is happening now at the FBI, with the Washington wagon circling the agency to protect it from the charges of corruption. This time, the appropriate tagline is too big to believe. Yet each day brings credible reports suggesting there is a massive scandal involving the top ranks of America's premier law enforcement agency, basically the biggest law enforcement agency, the premier law enforcement agency in the world. The reports, which feature talk among agents of a secret society and suddenly missing text messages, point to the existence of both a cabal dedicated to defeating Donald Trump in 2016 and of a plan to let Hillary Clinton skate free in the classified email probe. So we've talked about that. Criminal negligence versus, I don't even remember now. I get them mixed up. Anyways, one would put her in prison and bring criminal charges, and one is just like, oh, I randomly didn't mean to do this. And this all had to do with Strzok. It had to do with Comey. If either one is true, and this article says I believe both probably are, it would mean the FBI leaders betrayed the nation by abusing the powers in a bid to pick the president. We have to get one of the Strzok emails basically said, you know, we gotta close up the loose ends on this Clinton investigation because she's got to be president. And we could see that happening. And
they had no other option.
We could see that happening, like, with our eyes,
right,
without being behind the scenes. We could see that Comey, when he came out, okay, Clinton's got to be president. Yeah. We've got to cover this up. I mean, we could all see it. That's why she's not president.
So Britt Baza says, Michelle, from what I've heard about this, these text messages do exist, but they are held in the government communication headquarters in the UK because they were asked to investigate the FBI. I had not heard that, so that's an interesting spin if it's true. Could be true.
There we go. Get the UK to investigate our FBI.
Some of them, they're kind of just as corrupt.
Well, maybe. Might get somebody. Got to get some new eyes on this.
We do need to get some new eyes.
Maybe they don't have any skin in the game.
Agreed.
More support of this view involves the FBI's use of the Russian dossier on Trump that was paid for by the Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee. It is almost certain that the FBI used the dossier to get the FISA court warrants to spy on Trump associates, meaning it used the opposition research of the party in power to convince a court to let it spy on the candidate of the other party, likely without telling the court of the dossier's political link. Even worse, there is growing reason to believe someone in President Barack Obama's administration turned over classified information about Trump to the Clinton campaign itself. As one former prosecutor put it, it doesn't get worse than that. The prosecutor, Joseph D. Genova, believes Trump was correct when he claimed Obama wiretapped his phones at Trump Tower. These and other elements combine to make a toxic brew that smells to high heaven, but most Americans don't know much about it. Mainstream media coverage has been nothing. There's nothing in the paper. There's nothing because it's all meant to cover everything up. We're still talking about Russia. Partisan motives aside, it's as if a scandal of this magnitude is more than America can bear.
It's true. It is.
So let's pretend there's nothing to see there and move along. But thankfully, the disgraceful episode won't be washed away thanks to a handful of congressional Republicans, Devin Nunes, Trey Gowdy, Jim Jordan. In one text message, an agent suggests that Attorney General Loretta Lynch knew while the investigation was still going on that the FBI would not recommend charges against Clinton. How would she know unless the fix was in? All the roads in the explosive developments lead to James Comey. And then he gives this air of like this Boy Scout, right? And when you watch him, you think he's an innocent guy, but he's totally
absolutely
and completely corrupt.
Some evil and corrupt people are blessed with an non-evil
face.
Yeah, like a demeanor. Yeah, like the kind of face that you just want to trust and believe.
It was in the office of Comey's top deputy, Andrew McCabe, where agents discussed the insurance policy in the event that Trump won. That is Russia. Okay? The text was from Peter Strzok, the top investigator on the Trump case, and was sent to Lisa Page, an FBI lawyer, as was his mistress. Now, what we're hearing, if we hear anything from the mainstream media, they're calling him a rogue agent.
Of course.
But his hands aren't anything. He's a top FBI agent. He says, I want to believe the pass he threw out for consideration in Andy's office, Andrew McCabe, that there's no way he gets elected. Here they are, literally, Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, talking about the fact that we can't allow Trump to get elected.
I know that most of you here are really intelligent, but for those of you, maybe you're just joining us, maybe this hasn't dawned on you, but here's the thing, because most people are like, listen, they are individual Americans. They have the right to their opinion. If they want to do what they need to do, you know, go out and campaign for Hillary against Trump, that's fine. But these are top level government officials that not only have the ability to influence, but to use government resources to sway an election. And that is exactly what they did. This is conspiracy at the highest level.
But I'm afraid we can't take that risk. It's like an insurance policy in the unlikely event you die before you're 40. It is frightening that Strzok, who called Trump an idiot, was the lead investigator in both the Clinton and Trump cases. There's also, in one of his text messages before he was put on the case, said that when investigating Trump, he didn't run beyond that case because there's no there. So after these messages surfaced, Robert Mueller removed them from his probe, but both are still there. Strzok, despite his talk of his insurance policy in 2016, wrote in May 2017 that he was skeptical that Mueller's probe would find anything. There's no big there. Talk about irony. While the Dems and the left-wing media already found Trump guilty of collusion before Mueller was appointed, the real scandal might be the conduct of the probers themselves. Suspicions are hardly allayed by the fact that the FBI says it can't find 5 months, estimated 50,000 text messages, and then there were numerous leaks of classified material just before and after Trump's inauguration, January 20th. The president fired Comey last May 9th, provoking an intense lobbying effort for a special counsel, which led to Mueller's appointment on the 19th. Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, has emerged from his hidey hole to notice that the FBI has run amok and said Monday he would leave no stone unturned to find the 5 months of missing texts.
You know, when you read that sentence, the FBI has run amok, it makes it sound like it was something that was fairly recent. The FBI has been a muck since its inception. It hasn't just run amok recently.
Right.
Just so we're clear there.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw it on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, you wouldn't see this, but there was this huge push when this first came out of hashtag release the memo. Now, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer wrote to Twitter and to Facebook to let them know that Russian bots were making this trend and trying to get the people, American people, all riled up. However,
Really?
they were Americans, and even Twitter said so. American accounts inside the United States, not Russian bots, led the trending hashtag release the memo, according to a report. The online groundswell urging the release of the House Republicans' attacks on the Federal Bureau of Investigation appears thus far to be organically American.
No kidding.
Not Russian, the Daily Beast reported. A source familiar with Twitter's internal analysis told the outlet that authentic American accounts and not Russian imposters or automated bots were driving release the memo. Literally, that many people wanted you to release the memo.
Why would anyone not want the memo released amongst the American public?
Furthermore, there are no preliminary indications that the Twitter activity either driving the hashtag or engaging with it is either predominantly Russian. The hashtag began trending last week after House Republicans announced they had viewed a House Intelligence Committee memo detailing the abuse by the FBI. Like Steve King says, I've read the memo. The sickening reality has set in. I no longer hold out hope there is an innocent explanation for the information the public has seen. I have long said it is worse than Watergate. It was never Trump. It was always Hillary. Released the memo. But Trump critics blame the trending hashtag on Russian bots.
Of course they do.
Not Russian bots. Hashtag not Russian bots. This is the Twitter account of True Pundit Thomas Paine, who I've had the privilege of actually interacting with. Didn't know he was famous. Didn't know he had a thing going on Twitter. We had some jokes about our name being the Resistance Chicks, and he called me out and said, you know, if you're Resistance, people might not think that you're. Why do you have the name Resistance? That's the bot. That's the Hill bots. And I said to him, Well, we've actually been the resistance, resisting the Federal Reserve
State.
and the deep state and the brainwashing indoctrination public school system before these random Hillary people came and stole this hashtag resistance. We were the resistance first. You can't come steal it. And
Should have copyrighted.
and then I said that, and then he said, and we were actually writing the same thing at the same time. And I was like, it's like Alex Jones. And he's like, it's like Alex Jones. Oh, look, you just said that. And I said, yes. And then, so anyways, that was my interaction with Thomas Paine. But, so he is, if you guys want to follow him, he's got a cool thing going on. It's called True Pundit. And, it's, you know,
he's got several thousand. He's got like what, 45,000 followers.
Well, on Twitter, he's got 146,000.
Oh, okay, excuse me, I misread that. That's still a lot. So he's getting his voice out there and the truth, which I really, really appreciate. So what says, if Trump does not immediately arrest Clinton, he is a failure. Fire Sessions and hire a true man. I could not agree more.
So it looks like he's got he's using the fire engine for breaking news. That's cool. FBI agents threaten physical harm to President Trump if missing FBI texts and other frightening communications. All right, let's read this. A high-ranking FBI official confirms a number of the missing 50,000 FBI text messages, as well as other text and email messages among FBI brass, reportedly discussed initiating physical harm to President Trump. The FBI official urged the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, which oversees the U.S. Secret Society, to launch an investigation of the Justice Department, the FBI, and all text messages missing and otherwise that threaten the president. This is dangerous territory, and all FBI text messages and personal phones should be examined, the official said. It would reveal some frightening conversations. Did FBI brass discuss the assassination of President Trump? If not, what was the nature of the threats against the president from inside the alleged premier law enforcement agency in the United States? Director Wray wants a lid on this, the FBI official said. Many know there was talk of harming Trump politically, but there is a group here in Washington headquarters that understands it goes deeper. We need a special counsel or Homeland Security. Someone has to clean this up outside of the DOJ. It is unacceptable. So you outside of the Department of Justice, outside of the FBI, and outside of the CIA. And what the heck is happening?
What really bothers me though is pulling in Homeland Security. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, like they're going to be any better.
No, they're equally
bring in the
as
Bureau of
corrupt.
Land Management.
And again, equally as corrupt. There is no one left. What needs to happen is here's the DL. Here's the down low. Historically speaking, we have representatives that represent our states as a republic. And when these government agencies completely go rogue, it is up to our representatives to take matters into their own hands. And that's what needs to happen.
This is like Hillary's lost email. Judicial Watch has gotten a lot of those lost emails. They don't just disappear. I don't care what bleach bit you use, right? In today's digital age, it's almost impossible to just wipe things out, right? This FBI official says text messages just don't disappear. Not here. Someone outside the DOJ has to look at all the emails and texts. These FBI bosses are bad people. You've only scratched the surface. The high-ranking FBI official called on lawmakers and the Inspector General to focus on the text and email messages of FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. The official referred to McCabe's official and personal correspondence and anti-Trump treasure trove. As reported in March 2017 by True Pundit, McCabe openly threatened President Trump and then National Security Advisor General Mike Flynn, saying first we F Flynn and then we F Trump, to several high-ranking FBI bosses who cheered his comment. So yeah, that's his breaking news there. Let's see, I got Donald Trump Jr. We're gonna get to the shooting. All right. This is an interesting take on this. Judge, say it. I can never say it. Napolitano. Can we just say I can never say his name. Anyways, he says the FISA memo could be released by a congressman simply reading it on the House floor and then having it recorded that way.
That's Intelligence Committee votes to release it, and it seems as though there will soon be tremendous pressure to do so. And if it doesn't, I am suggesting that one of those members of Congress that you just ran on the screen should take this to the floor of the House of Representatives and release it there, because the Constitution protects anything that is said there. As Senator Feinstein did this with torture memos, these members of Congress should do it with this, because the rest of Congress and the American public is entitled to know. We put the Constitution in the hands of people to protect it, and they've abused that power. We need to know who the abusers were and what they did.
Genius. Very, very, very smart man.
All right, so I wanted to show you this. Okay, hashtag find the text. This is Donald Trump Jr. And then here's the text from our president, Donald Trump. Where are the 50,000 important text messages between FBI lovers Lisa Page and Peter Strzok blaming Samsung? Can we just take a moment of silence to thank God we have President Trump?
And that we have Twitter.
Listen,
so that he may utilize it.
Listen,
to get info out
I have
to
to tell you, I know a lot of people are disappointed that he's not doing this, he's not doing that. I'm disappointed in a lot of the things that he is doing and not doing. Okay, but here's the thing: we have something way bigger. This right here, the FBI corruption.
Yep.
The corruption of the Federal Reserve. I'm hoping and I'm praying to God, right, that everything leads to a domino effect. Because it all is all connected.
Yeah.
The Federal Reserve is connected. The indoctrination in the public schools is connected. It's all connected. Sydney, put it up on the thing, or Jasper will take it from her.
Come here, Sydney.
Jasper takes Sydney's food. She's like a socialist, really. Jasper doesn't really want to eat her food. She wants to eat Sydney's food. We call her the commie. Ba-boom, ching. The commie dog.
You're funny.
So anyways, I'm praying to God, and I feel the anointing all over this. This is why I can get behind Donald Trump, because this kind of disgusting corruption would have happened under Ted Cruz. It would have happened under Rand Paul, and they would have allowed those guys to continue on.
Right.
But something about Donald Trump has rubbed them the wrong way.
Yeah.
Versus anybody else.
Yep.
I don't know what it is. But there's an anointing that comes on him when he hears of an injustice.
Yeah.
Sarah Sanders read, there was a girl who's had like some weird seizures and she's got a surgery going on Friday. You can, I should actually bring it up because you'll cry. And she read about it, and she asked for the whole nation to pray for her, and then Donald Trump says, we're praying for you, fight. And that's just the kind of guy he is. He hears of an injustice and he goes after it. I'm not saying that he sticks on it for all the time, right? When he hears about things going wrong in Syria, he fights for it for a little bit. But he is the president, and he's got 1,000 things on his plate. Yeah. And every time something new gets put on his plate, then he does fight for it.
I can't imagine being president.
No.
Knowing that you have within your power the ability to help everyone almost. Mm-hmm. And you have to choose, because the question could be, well, why isn't he praying for every sick child, right, at every children's hospital all over the nation? And you have to choose. It's almost that some very blessed person gets to be the figurehead and representative mm-hmm. of just exactly how Trump feels about wanting to defend the innocent.
I don't know why he does it. It just is a thing. It's who he is.
Patriot Gallery.
Everybody get mad, Leah and Michelle. They didn't tell me they were going online. Just joking. Just kidding.
You couldn't hear us. We're so loud.
I heard you start laughing. I said, oh, well, they must be online.
Sorry. We're here now.
Well, they're usually quiet. You don't have a lot of communication between each other.
Right.
Anyways, I'm just saying, you said the FBI was trying to assassinate Trump, but I thought, well, the CIA is the one who wanted to assassinate Trump because the CIA has all the gold. And then I thought, well, the Vatican has all the gold. I'm thinking, well, see, this is what happened. These people used to have to lie and beg and tax people for gold and silver. So in the 90s, in the 1900s, the bad people got this idea. Why don't we just take all the gold and silver one time?
Right. Yeah.
Then we don't have to sell indulgences, get our gold and silver, and we don't have to, tax people, because people get mad when you tax them of their gold and silver. So they just took it all.
Yep. And
so what really Trump knows, the Federal Reserve and all these people took all the gold and silver from the people, right, and they gave us these coupons. $1 is just a coupon. And you see some paper, think this is a government coupon, and then they thought, hey, We can get as much money as we want. We'll just print as much as we want. That gives them unlimited power, gives them unlimited authority. They're unlimited in everything they do.
Right.
So in the end, when all is said and done, we need to use the money for now. But when it's all said and done, we're going to break into the Vatican, get that gold and silver. Switzerland, CIA, CERN, and all that stuff, that's where they keep all the gold from all around the world. Right. Of course, people have their little pots of gold here and there. I mean, pirates always have their little pots of gold and silver. But that's for everybody to use. When you use gold and silver, it's so totally different because money doesn't mean anything. It's worthless.
Right. So, if I may, I think the correlation between what we were talking about,
school and public school are tied together.
Resistance Chicks is this. The deep state, which we are now shining a massive light on right now with these secret societies within the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, and so forth. It is all tied together with the public school system, the taking of our gold, giving us these Federal Reserve coupons, like Patriot Gallery called them.
That's how they control. They control our minds.
It's all about control.
Through public indoctrination.
Yes.
And then they control what we do through allowing us to have these paper things that, as we showed you before, for 200 years, the dollar did not change value. A dollar was a dollar was a dollar was a dollar. Mm-hmm. And so you could know that whatever you did, it was going to be worth the same amount. Now, what has happened with the Federal Reserve is everything's gone amok, and that's where all the confusion comes in, and that's where the lack of morals come in. And that's why everybody's like, our country's gone crazy, right? It's gone crazy because we all have these fake dollars, and they go up, and they go down, and they go up, and they go down, and you never know what kind of value you have,
right?
Because you don't have any value. And so the only way that this whole system works is by keeping it up. It has to be in the pillars. The pillars are coming down, and this is a major pillar. When the FBI falls, and hopefully, praise God, it is being shown to be corrupt. I mean, like, there is no
huge. One left. It's almost like that we're going to have a government shutdown of just the FBI
and the CIA.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to shut down the parks. You don't have to shut down all this stuff. Just shut down the FBI and the CIA and all of these acronyms.
Right. The federal, people keep calling this, the FBI, this great institution. No,
not really.
You guys, it was not founded to be anything great. Okay? It was founded to find
founded by our founding fathers.
No, the founding fathers don't want you to be able to spy on our citizens and get dirt on each other. I mean, the FBI wanted Martin Luther King Jr. to commit suicide.
They told him to. They sent him. You should kill yourself.
The FBI is not a good. No, just get rid of the FBI. Just
get rid of it. Let me see. I think it was Terry Martin. I think I saw the name. I may be getting this wrong. But she wanted to know, Terry Martin wants to know: Is it true there really isn't any gold in Fort Knox? Listen.
We drove by there. No,
our opinion is
there ain't no gold there.
We can't obviously unequivocally say no. However,
if there was gold there, they would have had guards there.
It's in some shanty town, Fort Knox, Kentucky. There are XXX
porn things
everywhere, but the actual fencing around Fort Knox is very small. There's a little bit of barbed wire. There's no guards. There's nothing. If all of America's gold, or most of it, was actually being stored in Fort Knox, then I need to go and protest the fact that it's not being more heavily guarded. Okay, this is absolutely ridiculous. Do I think somebody broke in and got it? Well, with the lack of guard, they probably could. No. If you were the manager of someone's money and you kept spending it all and there was no money left, and yet you had this big pile of gold over here, and you had it housed in a building, and you could just let people think that it was still in there, would you not take it and go ahead and spend it? We are trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars in debt. And before we got into all of that debt so heavily, there was Fort Knox. That ship has already sailed. They had to have already sold it out from underneath of us. And the reason why Patriot Gallery brings it up is because it is the greatest injustice that was done to the American people, because they handed us these promissory notes. They said, you give us your gold, we will store it away, and you can always come back and get it.
And it made it illegal to have it.
But now you can't. Why can you not go and get your gold? A, you can't get it from the government because they don't let you. But B, you can't because we don't have it. The American government just does not have it. There are many nations around the world that are starting to buy up precious metals because they see what's coming down the line with this artificial currency.
Right. All right. So I'm going to move on. Segment 1 over.
Yay.
We're moving on to DACA Dreamers, right? Okay. So they're like 2-year-olds in diapers. I have to tell you, going around demanding this and demanding that. They're not even legal citizens, by the way, and they're demanding that every single illegal immigrant get granted amnesty. But I want to play for you some of their chants here for you guys. So much fun.
So Chris Holman says Fort Knox is heavily guarded. You just don't see it. Motion sensors and soldiers ready to react to intruders with soldiers on foot, tanks, and helicopters. Nothing is more secure. Chris was in the military for a long time. I want to say 8 years. If I'm wrong, forgive me. And you guys can go and subscribe to his channel, by the way. He said he put out a new video. So I do want to take what Chris says as an alternate. My theory still, my opinion is that it's still, there's no gold in there. Even if it is heavily guarded and you don't see it, I still think it's a front. However, you can take Chris's opinion to the bank, in my opinion.
All right, so DACA Dreamers.
You can't really hear it anyway. I'm going to put the mic up there.
No,
Schumer,
don't.
Listen, we are fighting the good fight.
This is my favorite one.
If they don't let us dream, we won't let them sleep.
They call themselves the Dreamers. Really?
Did I say they won't let us sleep? We won't let them sleep. That's what it is.
Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Actually, that's absolutely true. I will say it loud and I will say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here.
We come from immigrants.
Say it loud, say it clear. What you want to say is illegal immigrants are welcome here. And I ain't going to say that.
No.
Illegal immigrants aren't welcome here.
Now they got drums. I think there's like a tuba in there somewhere.
Something, shut it down.
And then it kind of dies off and they kind of lose their beat a little.
If Trump won't let us dream, we won't let him sleep.
Eric Butler says they are definitely dreaming. Well said. Our family. Our communities. Schumer.
Das escucha.
Can you hear us? We don't want the mandate to hurt our families.
It's this is familia.
Yeah, because we told them with our drums and tuba, we're still fighting. Okay, Patriot Gallery.
Well, it just reminded me that we are all immigrants. We're Swedish, we're Irish, we're German and French and all these different places, even Mexican or Cuban, what we were. Now we're American.
Yo.
And when you come to America, you come to embrace Christianity and the laws and principles of Christianity. You're no longer Somalians. You're no longer Arabians or whatever. You leave all that behind and you embrace Christianity. And we have to have one language.
Yep.
The Bible says God confuses a language. So we have to have one language, and we've embraced English as a language here. So you have to learn English. You have to learn Christian laws and principles in order to understand the foundation of our country, because the whole Declaration of Independence, Constitution is written from the Word of God. All the principles written therein are from the Bible. Even the Senate and the House, many representatives. You'll see the Bible separates governments into tens, 50s, hundreds, 1,000.
Yep.
God separates that way because you can only have so many people leading. You know, you can only have so many chiefs, and it's a biblical principle.
Too many Indians.
And so, and even the Justice Department, the
That wasn't a
executive
racist Indian
department.
thing, by the way. Too many Indians, not enough chiefs.
They all know the same.
Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. That's what you meant to say.
I said there was too many Indians.
Yeah, you meant too many chiefs.
Too many chiefs.
Whatever.
That's what.
I don't know what she meant. Forget it. Scratch that.
So what's important is when you come here, you're no longer from all these places. You're no longer Turkish. You're no longer German. You're no longer Russian.
American.
You're American. We all say we're American, and
Yes,
we live
in
by
America, we
Christian
speak
principles.
American.
If you come here, you
Yeah.
have to embrace Christianity, even if you don't embrace Jesus Christ. But the laws of the Bible are perfect.
Right.
You know, love, charity, kindness, don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't falsely accuse other people, love your mother and father.
Sorry.
You can't deny these principles that work for everybody, and you have to have one language. And you have to embrace where you're from, and then you get smaller. And you have to love your country is your state.
Right.
Like Ohio, Virginia. You're going to find the founding fathers. They loved Virginia. They loved Maryland. They loved their Pennsylvania. And they were proud that they were from that place. And so that's smaller government. And be proud of where you live and keep it good, keep it honest, keep it clean.
Yo.
Exactly. I like what Donna Terry had said. They are protesting their rights, and they don't have any rights in this country. Now, we all have basic human rights that come from God. John Locke teaches us that. But
I can't come over to you and just peel your teeth right out.
What these dreamers want,
Even
in
if you're an
addition to
illegal immigrant.
amnesty, is and here's the thing. If you get amnesty and you are able to stay here, become a citizen and so forth, then you are entitled to our welfare system, and you're entitled to all of these things. And so it's not just, I want my human right to be able to abide on whatever grass I land on or wherever I'm at. It's just not the way that things are run. So you don't get these rights. You just don't get them.
And you don't get to shut down Disneyland.
Yeah.
Law enforcement removed immigrant rights protesters from blocking street into Disneyland entrance. DACA recipients and aliens are now on sidewalk underneath Disneyland sign. Protesters want to pressure Congress to pass a Clean Dream Act. They chant, no dream, no deal. How about just no deal?
No deal.
No deal when you act. I mean, seriously, I don't want these people here. They're spoiled. They're rotten. Their brains are rotten. They're lying on the ground with a tantrum, telling the United States government what they want the United States government to do. Now, imagine you and I going down to Mexico, telling the Mexican government what to do. You know what happens?
Right.
We get stuck in jail.
Yes.
All right.
And I've heard about people getting stuck down in those Mexican jails.
Yeah, it's not awesome. All right. So I could spend all day on DACA. I'm not going to do it because just not going to do it because I can't. I can only talk about him so much. I want to go into, now I have a bunch of random news, and we're going to just kind of hit one more thing, and we're going to end with Kentucky. I think it's kind of sad. But I thought this was funny. TMZ caught up with Susan Summers.
It's Suzanne.
Whatever.
It's pronounced Suzanne. Hi, Jasper.
Trump's 1 year anniversary. You think it's a good, timely thing to be happening?
I'm happy about him.
You're happy about what he's doing?
Yeah, I am.
Ah! You lost Suzanne Summers, man.
I lost her.
Dang.
Here we go.
Anniversary. You think it's a good, timely thing to be happening?
I'm happy about him.
You're happy about what he's doing?
Yeah, I am.
Cutting taxes and whatnot? What are you happy about?
I'm happy that the economy is doing so much better.
Awesome.
I am.
That's cool to hear, someone say that in Los Angeles because it's a very opposing
rare.
side to take.
And now my career is over.
Oh, snap. No, I think there's some people that'll have your back out there.
Yeah, no. You know what, Suzanne Summers? I don't think anybody can kill your career because you just keep resurrecting it, girl.
I just thought it was funny.
No, I think it's fantastic. There's finally at least one person in Hollywood that's excited about Trump and actually says that, you know what, I'm happy we're the economy. She had a legitimate answer. He asked a question and she had facts. Oh, really? Try doing that with the left. They can't give you an answer for why they hate Trump or what he's doing wrong. He's just a racist.
Taking away free birth control.
Yeah.
So this episode wouldn't be complete without talking about censorship. It's not just us. We're at the bottom of the barrel.
But we're still being censored.
But we are still being censored. I have another email out to YouTube. So still trying. Just to let you know that it definitely is the Jordan Peterson angle. We were doing Jordan Peterson's interview with the Catherine Newman, whatever. And it's gone viral. It's wild. Not our video per se.
And YouTube has done, and not just YouTube, but every social media outlet, things like that. They have done everything that they can to censor this video.
So he's going to be on Tucker Carlson tomorrow night. We're going to cover Jordan Peterson to he's going to be on tonight, sorry. And I think we're going to cover him tomorrow, and I'm going to play a couple more videos of Jordan Peterson. But he had a video that he put out after this. People were accusing him of being alt-right, and he was defending himself, and YouTube took it down. And they censored Jordan Peterson, and he laughed and he said, well, I've gotten to the place where it just makes me bigger. It makes me stronger. But they put his video back up because they have such a loud voice. We don't have that.
He has such a loud voice.
That same voice. But I want to show you Dave Rubin of the Rubin Report, which is also another really amazing channel. If you're not subscribed to the Rubin Report, he's awesome. But he says, and in case you don't think YouTube is unsubscribing people without them knowing, as people tell me every day, here's my live subscriber count immediately after the live stream. So immediately after the live stream, it goes down by like 13. That doesn't happen. You always gain subscribers on a live stream.
Right.
So, all right.
They take our subscribers from us all the time. I hear it every day as well.
Right. Oh, it's so weird. You think that your subscribers have stalled off, but really they're just unsubscribing people and new people are coming.
Right.
So it's just really a weird situation happening at YouTube, and you just have to I don't trust God. Here, Anne-Marie Waters tweeted out, it's a really big thing in the UK, halal versus stunned meat. And if you guys don't understand the difference, when we kill our pigs, we shoot them in the head right here, and it doesn't kill them.
It stuns
them so they're out, right? Knocks them out. So then you go in with a knife, and I know it sounds weird. I hope you're a vegetarian. Then you go for the jugular, and then you cut, right? So halal meat just goes right for the jugular and kills them without stunning them. And often it's very harmful for the animals. Bad things can happen. So while halal was necessary before we had guns, we have stun guns now, so we can be more humane. So it's a big deal in the UK. A lot of people don't want the halal meat. A lot of people want to know their animal was treated more humanely. City Council backs down over decision to ban unstunned halal meat in schools. Lancashire. Thank you. Lancashire City Council has backed down over its controversial decision to ban the serving of unstunned halal meat in its schools after the threat of a legal challenge. In October, the county's full council voted to end the supply on its schools and premises of halal meat from animals which had not been stunned before slaughter, with the exception of poultry. Poultry, you don't stun a bird.
I don't know how everyone else does their chickens, but what we do, and if this bothers you, you may step away for a few minutes, but we have what's called a chicken cone, and you put the chicken upside down in the cone, and
what happens is the bird relaxes. It even starts to fall asleep.
Exactly, because of all the blood rushing to its head. But it's not just the blood rushing to its head, because you can take a chicken outside and turn it over on its back, and it will just kind of
relaxes.
There's something about it. I don't know the science behind it.
Hypnotizing a chicken or something like that.
Yeah.
If you want to control a chicken, turn it upside down. They'll calm down. But anyways, yeah, that's what we do. The move was prompted by the county council's Tory leader, who considers the slaughter of unstunned animals as cruel. The how do you say it?
Lancashire
Council of Mosques last month threatened to take the authority to judicial review in the High Court, claiming it had failed to consult adequately on the decision. Now the county council has written to the LCM's chief executive, Abdul Hamid, saying it will consider afresh. That's kind of a weird way to put it, isn't it? It will now consult on the proposal voted through in October and continue the current contracts to supply unstunned meat to 27 schools. The new vote will have to be taken by the city council. And so, listen, you're a Christian country. If they want that halal meat, you bring it to school.
Exactly.
You bring it. You pack your lunch.
And that's what makes me really upset.
It's a Christian country. I mean, it's not a Muslim country.
Right.
You can say you can bring it into school.
Right.
Right? But you don't supply it. You don't do these special things.
And I found in my own personal research that at a lot of these schools that are serving halal meat, just to make it easy, they don't just offer halal meat. And then, in addition to just regular stunned meat,
they just give all the kids
halal meat. And what about the parents who don't like that, who feel that that's cruelty to animals, and their religion or their conscience says that this is wrong and this should not be taking place? Britt Baza says the reason halal is big in the UK is because for 65 million people, they haven't been told that it's halal meat. It's basically part of the Islamification of the UK by being surreptitious.
Yeah. All right. So next story here. This is BBC Persia has confirmed that the woman waving her white hijab, who became a symbol of the Iranian resistance, has been arrested by authorities. She has a 20-month-old child, and her fate is unknown. So, Iranian protester, where is she? Here she is.
Yeah, I remember her. That's really sad.
Her name remains unknown, but earlier on Monday, earlier reports that the female protester was arrested on December 27th were confirmed to BBC Persian by human rights lawyer Nasrin Sotoudeh, who added the protester is 31 years old and a mother of a 20-month-old child.
Now, but you said they don't know her name.
Well, they didn't give her name.
Okay,
That's the name
but
of
the name
lawyer.
is known. Okay, great.
Our investigators confirmed the young woman, whose name we still not know, was arrested on that very same day, she wrote on Facebook Sunday, along with a picture of the same location where the woman was first arrested. She was released shortly afterwards, but was arrested once again.
Wow.
Since January 17th, a hashtag in Persian asking just that, and English language equivalents, where is she and where is she, have been used more than 28,000 times on Twitter, as well as other social media channels. The photograph of the woman was first widely used in connection to the White Wednesday campaign, in which the women in Iran wear white to protest the country's strict dress code.
Right.
So I'm guessing what has happened is that because of the Iranian protests, like, she was probably released because of the hijab thing, right?
Yep.
But when the Iranian protests happened, then she was re-arrested. And this is Maia. I can't say how her name, but she says, if I protested like this in Iran, I'd be arrested and jailed for sure. Today, and she marched in the Women's March. And I should have to say...
My choice! My body, my choice! My body, my choice!
Her body, her choice!
My body, my choice!
Her body, her choice!
Unfortunately, most of the women at the Women's March don't ever take up the cause of Muslim women. They just don't.
Right, exactly. They don't. You could see that it was kind of like, okay, you can say it, we'll say it with you, but it doesn't really mean anything to us. This was funny. So this is David Cameron saying Brexit has turned out to be less badly than we thought.
As I keep saying, it's a mistake, not a disaster. It's turned out less bad. It's still going to be difficult. Oh,
You're speaking to Lakshmi Mittal, the chairman of a steel company. Mittal, everyone's talking about Brexit. Yes, well, we know it's frustrating. As I keep saying, it's a mistake, not a disaster. It's turned out less badly than we thought.
It's still going to be difficult. Anyway, good to see you. Good to see you.
Well,
so I thought that Nigel tweeted that out, and he said, well, sir. Something like that.
All right, so since you brought that up, I want to get to some news that Britt wanted us to cover. But before I do, Stevie Ganoski says, I raise chickens in the spring and summer. By fall, my freezer is full of meat for less than 50 cents a pound. Don't get me started about the garden.
Yay,
So
Stevie.
I love to put that into...
That's the way to be.
Yeah.
That's how you take back power from the man.
That's exactly how you take back the power from the man. So for those of you that are not aware, there was a meeting that was held... in the UK, in Dorchester, and it was for men only. And so there were a couple of reporters, women, that decided to go undercover as waitresses there. So I'm just going to read you this article from the Daily Mail. Fury at Slimeball's Gala. PM is urged to sack children's minister who attended men-only charity bash, where waitresses were, quote, groped by bankers as organizer is forced to quit government role. Theresa May is under growing pressure to sack a government minister who was at a men-only charity gala in which female hostesses were groped. Children and Families Minister Nadeem Zahawi was at the President's Club Gala, where 130 tall, thin, and pretty women were drafted to serve 300. Why do you need 130 women to serve 300 men to start with? At an event billed as the most un-PC event of the year. An undercover reporter said she and other women who worked at the event were grabbed by the men as prizes, such as tea with the head of the Bank of England, were raffled off for charity. Mr. Zahawi also attended the event at the Dorchester Hotel in Mayfair last Thursday, but felt extremely uncomfortable and left early. The House of Commons heard. He tweeted, "I do unequivocally condemn this behavior. The report is truly shocking. I will never attend a men-only function ever." But opposition politicians called for him to step down amid the growing scandal. Sorry if this video is playing and I can't hear it. It comes as a waitress at the event claimed a group of 5 prostitutes turned up after dinner and began soliciting for sex. They were wearing red dresses, she told ITV News, and they were acting very provocatively around the men, kissing men almost
the whole thing, do you?
Instantly. Well, I guess I don't have to, but so this happened. And so Theresa May is under pressure to sack this guy. I don't know if she has the guts to do it. I think she totally should. This is absolutely, and I love how he said, "I will never attend a men's only event." Here's the thing.
If you have to get together with a lot of men and you're afraid something bad's going to happen because it's just dudes, then you have probably some issues. That's not your answer, by the way.
Usually we've got wedding showers, baby showers. These are women-only events. Now, we've got, modern-day society says that these can be co-ed. That's fine, whatever you want to do. But by and large, those are usually the women-only events. Yes, you have bachelorette parties. I think they're retarded. But they only started because girls were jealous because before they were getting married, guys were getting together and hiring strippers. I don't condone men-only events. I don't really think that this is a thing that needs to happen. We had a friend, I don't mind airing this on air because they never watched the show, once that told us that her brother and brothers-in-law would get together and hire strippers like once a month. And we're talking like, quote-unquote, a regular family with regular people. Her dad was almost going to be a minister at the Catholic Church. I mean, this is not a thing. Guys don't need to do this. Don't go. If you don't want to look bad or possibly be caught in an unsavory instance, maybe you ought not have galas for men only.
You know what? I have a great roll-in for that. A massive brawl involving 180 people, I'm sure, at a men-only event here. In German airport during an anti-Erdogan protest. In the Hanover airport in Germany on Monday related to protests of Turkey's military invasion of Kurdish areas in northwest Syria, an operation which began over the weekend and has received condemnation from multiple countries. The Kurdish tensions have increasingly exploded into serious confrontations and violence within the communities in Europe. You've got the Kurds and the Turks all over Europe, and then randomly they just, fight. They just fight. People just get up and fight. The anti-Erdogan and the Erdogan people randomly in Italy or Greece or the Netherlands, they just fight each other. And then everybody's standing there like, what's going on with you
And they
people?
bring these fights into the countries that they go into.
You saw the one where they were fighting, the anti-Erdogan and the Erdogan people were fighting here on America's soil. You want to see it? You do want to see it. Why are you protesting in the airport? This should be illegal because, listen, I'm thinking you're Middle Eastern terrorism, baby. Here we go, Karate Kid. Nope, this isn't a male-only event. There's women involved in this. This should be a male-only event. Random karate. They need better karate classes in Turkey. It was almost like a stage, like one of those flash mobs. 1, 2, 3, go. So what? What's going on, man? Mom says you did a video on this. What is
says,
this?
Look at these Mongos. Says, so what?
What is this? Is this... Why would they be protesting in an airport? Why would they be allowed to bring in flags? Like, they're like weapons.
I know, in an airport.
You can't even take in more than 3 ounces of water on the plane.
ECW says, I smell George Soros.
Just banging. These, you know what? These are not Europeans. This is not Christian culture, by the way. This is not a Christian culture. I gotta tell you, this is their culture.
So what says, I made a video. I have no clue why this is going on. He just said he made a video on it.
They don't back down, man. Where are the cops arresting people, by the way? They're just breaking them up, but they're not arresting anybody for violence in an airport? No, you just go over there, you go over there, you go over there. I'm pulling out my gun, baby.
I'm not sure
he's pushing back at the cop, dude. It was that.
Does she have a gun?
I don't know. I don't care if you're for Erdogan or against Erdogan.
I know in the United States, if you put a hand on an officer, they're allowed to draw their weapon.
Right.
Okay, because that's exactly what I would do. Back to what we were talking about a minute ago, Britt Baza had added something that I felt was worth sharing. He said, Michelle, it's a bit different. The women that do those types of shows, stripping and whatnot, know what they're getting into. The women in the Dorchester were not told until they were there and then made to sign a disclaimer. But obviously, these two reporting women knew enough
what was going to
happen, you know, to get in there. So.
Sickos.
They are, yes, absolutely.
All right, so I saw this once and I saw it again. My Jewish friend shared this on Facebook, so I'm gonna share this with you guys. John Kerry to a boss, confident, stay strong and do not give in to Trump. Here is Secretary of State John Kerry with Palestinian Authority Mohammed Abbas. This was during 2016, but listen to this. While the White House has confirmed that since the Jerusalem Declaration there has been a complete disconnect between the Palestinian Authority and the Trump administration, it turns out that the previous administration has maintained contact with the Palestinian officials. Mariv reported that former U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry met in London with a close associate of the Palestinian President Abbas, and for a long and open conversation about a variety of topics. I guess his name is Aga, apparently reporting details of the conversation to senior Palestinian officials in Ramallah. A senior Palestinian official confirmed that the meeting took place. Agha is one of Abbas's closest associates and one of the veteran peacemakers with Israel. He conducted the London track secret negotiations held from 2010 to 2013 between the emissaries of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu under the supervision, let's see, During the conversation, this is what I'm going to get to. According to the report, Kerry asked Agha to convey a message to Abbas and ask him to hold on and be strong. Come back. This is my punchline. Tell him that he should stay strong in his spirit and play for a time, that he will not break and will not yield to Donald Trump's demands. According to Kerry, Trump will not remain in office for a long time. It was reported that Kerry said that within a year there was a good chance that Trump would not be in the White House.
Within a year?
Kerry offered his help to the Palestinians in an effort to advance the peace process and recommended that Abbas present his own peace plan. Maybe it's time for the Palestinians to redefine their peace principles and present a positive plan. He promised to use all his contacts and his abilities to get support for such a plan. He asked Abbas through Agha not to attack the U.S. or the Trump administration, but to concentrate on personal attacks on Trump himself. According to the report, then referring to the president, Kerry used highly derogatory terms. Kerry offered to help create an alternative peace initiative and promised to help garner international support from Europeans, Arab states, and the international community. Kerry hinted that many in the American establishment, as well as in American intelligence, are dissatisfied with Trump's performance and the way he leads the country. He surprised his interlocutor by saying he was seriously considering running for president himself in 2020. When asked about his advanced age, he said he was not much older than Trump and would have no age problem. Kerry explained, according to the report, that even in the Republican Party, I'm just going to mute here. They do not know what to do with Trump and are very dissatisfied with him. And I'm trying not to click on things.
We're patient.
And that patience and breathing time are needed to get through this difficult period. In a report in the conversation, Agha said that Kerry appears to be crazy about things, very energetic, and someone who is yearning to help realize the dream of peace between Israelis and Palestinians.
Wow.
It is reasonable to assume that the Netanyahu government will use the details of this conversation to claim that Kerry is obsessed and messianic and pro-Palestinian. It is not certain that this thesis stands the test of reality. So here's the thing. John Kerry.
Yeah.
Trying to broker peace deals.
Mm-hmm.
He's not in the government.
No.
He's trying to undermine President Trump.
Yes.
With another governmental authority. This guy should be in prison.
Yes.
Isn't he like trying to do what Flynn did, the whole Logan Act or something?
I couldn't agree more. And so the people in the chat as well. Kerry was treasonous in Vietnam, so he hasn't changed much. Sagittarian says, can't we arrest Kerry for treason? I didn't like him when he was a representative of our government. I like him even less now. Chris Holman says, John Kerry, yeah, right. Let's see. Alan says, Kerry couldn't beat W. No way he can beat the Donald. George W. Bush.
All right, so this has nothing to do with necessarily politics, and I don't think Michelle's even heard about this. I've been following this story. There's a U.S. gymnastics doctor who has molested hundreds of top elite gymnasts on the Olympic team. He just today was sentenced to 175 years in prison. You can, some of them actually read statements in court. I'm going to read this to you. Capping the rising tide of pervasive sex abuse scandals unleashed by the recent takedown of Harvey Weinstein, moments ago, the former U.S. gymnastics and Michigan State University sports doctor Larry Nassar was sentenced to between 40 and 175 years in prison for the sexual assault of dozens of girls. The sentencing on 7 charges of criminal sexual misconduct in Ingham County, Michigan, followed 7 days of testimony from more than 150 current and former gymnasts who said Nassar molested them while professing to treat them for injuries. 150 that actually came forward. I just signed your death warrant, says Judge Rose Marie Aquiliana, after issuing the verdict, and added that it was an honor and a privilege to sentence him. Your crime, all of your crimes, the depth of them have cut to the core of this community and the many communities. You did this for your pleasure, she said. I wouldn't send my dogs to you. You do not deserve to walk outside of prison ever. He should get the death penalty.
I think it's Aquilina.
And she addressed the gymnast present, telling them, you're no longer victims, you're survivors. He pled guilty. He was already serving a 6-year sentence for child pornography convictions and is still waiting sentences on 3 charges of criminal sexual misconduct. So I just wanted to bring that to you guys as far as we're there's sex trafficking and all kinds of crazy things going on. And these are your famous gymnasts. These are the gold gymnasts.
Here's what you guys need to know, and many of you already do, but for those of you that do
Gabby
not.
Douglas and Simone Biles.
That's incredible. The sexual predators, whether they are homosexual or not, this guy was a heterosexual sexual predator, which is more rare. It's just a fact. They find positions. Douglas. They seek out positions where I can't. For those of you that don't know, I used to be a gymnast. They will find positions where they can prey on mass victims, okay? Because one victim is not enough. A lot of times we have fathers or uncles or grandpas or whatever that have a family member that they can prey upon for years.
Right.
But most of the time, we see teachers, we do see priests, we see people in church. We see Kansas, his uncle was a dentist. We see these people that get into positions where they're going to have access to lots and lots of victims. And when you go into prisons, and there have been so many studies done with these sexual predators, the number of victims that they will honestly tell you that they had are staggering. So that number 150 sounds incredible to us to hear, but that is not rare at all. These people get victim after victim after victim. It's not just enough for them to have 1 or 2 or 10 or 20. They need multiple, and we're talking a staggering amount. So what really irks me about this is, unfortunately, that this guy was allowed to get by with this. My explanation, just right off the top of my head, would be that gymnastics is a kill or be killed sport. You will do anything when you are in it to get to the top.
Elite sport.
Exactly. And in this as an example, so I still consider these girls victims, even though they didn't speak out, but they probably feared that their whole career would be ruined if they did.
He was the top U.S. gymnastics doctor.
And we're talking about, these are young women, okay? These are not Hollywood adult women that could have come out to say something.
No, it was when they're teens, 13 and 14. They get confused. Exactly. It happened during routine examinations. And unfortunately, when you are an Olympic athlete, as I was beginning to train for one, you have to do a lot of things that you wouldn't normally do. You have to stand in front of judges naked. To say that you're female or male. So these are lines that already get crossed.
Exactly.
Joining her former gymnasts in accusing a former team doctor of sexual abuse.
Simone Biles joins the growing list of 140 women who say they were molested by sports doctor Larry Nassar. The Olympic gold medalist revealed her heartbreaking story on Twitter, saying, "The more I try to shut the voice in my head, the louder it screams." Simone's fellow gymnasts Michaela Maroney, Allie Raisman, and Gabby Douglas have also come forward saying they were sexually abused by Nassar, who pleaded guilty to molestation charges.
That is punishable by up to life. Do you recall that?
Yes, Your Honor.
About 100 victims will have a chance to speak at Nassar's 4-day sentencing hearing, which began today in Michigan. Allie has said she would not go because it's too traumatic, but her letter will be read. We've learned Michaela has been forbidden to talk because of a legal agreement she signed after receiving a settlement. If she breaks it, she reportedly may be fined $100,000. But leave it to an amazing act of girl power to turn things around. Chrissy Teigen made this offer on Twitter. "The entire principle of this should be fought. I would be absolutely honored to pay this fine for you, Michaela."
Little girls don't stay little forever. They grow into strong women that return to destroy your world.
Today, the first victim to speak in the courtroom was Kyle Stevens, whose parents were friends with Nassar.
"You used my body for 6 years for your own sexual gratification. That is unforgivable."
The prosecution is asking for at least 40 years in prison. Nassar has already been sentenced to...
So he's going to be in prison forever. He should be killed.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that a lot in the comment section. They should just be executed. And you know what? When it's this kind of magnitude, I wholeheartedly agree.
Absolutely.
After you castrate.
Right. All right, so I hate to go from something sad to something sad.
Hey, do you want to do the blood thing first? Because Donna had asked a question in the comments, and I thought maybe you might go to that snake blood thing, because then they could address that question. Did you have it?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where I put it. I think it might be over here. So Rex Tillerson was in Indonesia, and in order to impress him, they did this. Not Rex Tillerson, I'm sorry. This is Mad Dog Mattis observes Indonesian troops drinking snake's blood impress him.
I can't.
I don't. Here are some snakes. I'm going to give you a commentary. Here, get the snakes. Grab the snakes. Ready? There he is. Mad Dog Mattis watching them grab the snakes.
I'm not even watching.
Wrapping them around. You drink some blood.
No!
We're going to cut him over. You drink snake blood. No. Yes. Yes, we can break things on our bodies. We're we're showing Mad Dog Mattis we can do things. Ready? Bam! With the head! Bam! All right. The snake blood helps you do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so Donna had asked a really interesting question. I've never thought about it until she said it, but she said that the Bible says that we shouldn't drink the blood of the animals in the Old Testament. And she said, do you think that that's why the Satanists do it? Just to go against God saying not to.
Yeah.
Because there's life in the blood. So it's definitely a satanic. And she just randomly threw that in the chat, and I thought, I remembered that you wanted to show that.
Okay, you guys. A 15-year-old student went on a rampage in a rural Kentucky high school. 2 teens are dead. And he's charged with 2 counts of murder and 12 counts of first-degree assault. Assistant County Attorney Jason Darnall said the shooter, whose name was not released, he's a juvenile, was charged in juvenile court and will request that he be transferred to adult court. Authorities previously said the teen would be charged with murder and attempted murder, but Darnell said the assault charge would be easier to prove than attempted murder and carries the same penalty. Students at Marshall High School in Benton...
How can they not prove murder?
Well, no attempted murder on the rest of them.
Okay, I get it. All right.
School students at Marshall High School in Benton described a terrifying scene of gunshots, shock, panic, and a wild scramble for safety on Tuesday. Bailey Nicole Holt, 15, died at the scene. Preston Ryan Cobe, 15, died a short time later. No one screamed. It was almost completely silent as people just ran. This girl says she was eating breakfast in the school's, atrium, where she heard a gunshot and turned to see the shooter nearby. She said she knew him as a happy, quiet boy who played music. She took refuge in a classroom as shots continued out. It was one after another, bang, bang, bang. Heather Ligon, the mother of 2 teens at the school, said her sons described the shooter as someone who was cracking jokes whenever they saw him. Ligon said that she arrived at the scene. Her youngest son, Brian, crawled to her in a panic. Brian told her he had been close enough to smell the charged gunpowder. Lexi Wayman and Bailey Culp, both 16, said they had been talking about basketball and makeup when they heard a bang. Culp said she thought nothing of it until she saw a body drop to the ground and bangs continued. Bullets were flying everywhere. She ran to the street, continued to hear shooting behind her, and kept running until a man pulled her into a business where other students were also hiding. The other girl was said she was so overcome by fear she couldn't even run. I tried to get up and tried to run, but I fell. She saw only blackness. I heard someone hit the ground. It was so close to me. And since the shooting, a series of vigils memorials have been held. It's illegal for anyone under 18 to possess a gun in Kentucky. I don't know what else to say than this is just a horrible tragedy. But you don't need the volume, I don't think. Here.
I was literally nauseous. Could you imagine that drive to that school not knowing if your child had been killed or not?
There was one of the law enforcement officers that thought that it was his daughter that had been killed.
I called my mom, and I guess I think his brother got shot.
His stepdad had told me that pretty much what he was doing before he got shot was literally hugging and giving people high fives. I did talk to him before he got flown to Vanderbilt, and I told him to be strong, and he told me to be strong.
I beg of you again, respect the fact that these children belong to this community and to specific families in this community. And this is a wound that is going to take a long time to heal. And for some in this community will never fully heal.
So, honestly, guys, I don't know much else. I can't tell you much else.
I have a couple of thoughts that have been running through my brain all day about this because it's been on the radio. It's been on our local news. It's been covered everywhere. And that is this. on our radio, the lady on the radio was saying, you know, this could happen to any of us. And as parents, we just, you know, we grow desensitized to it, and we need to realize that this could happen to us anywhere. And I have to be honest with you guys, as a parent, and I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, and I don't care. It's my channel. I love you guys, but seriously, this is how I feel about it. As a parent, you have a responsibility to protect your child. There are things, outside forces that could happen. Your kid could get hit in a car accident. Somebody could go into a convenience store with a gun, whatever. But we do know that in these schools, we see regularly shootings, assaults, abuse, sexual abuse, a degradation of minds. The schools, the public school system, and even private schools, it's like sending your kid to prison. And what I mean by that is it degrades their mind. They're around the most vile creatures that you can imagine, their fellow students, their teachers, and so forth. And so you have a choice, especially if you're a double parent home. You have a choice. You can go live in a tent, in a trailer, if that's what it takes, you know, to have a single parent income or whatever, and homeschool your child. You have that choice in America. In Germany, they don't have that choice.
Right.
And I'll take it a step further, even if you have to, monetarily, all public schools have free online homeschooling. Okay, I would want you to homeschool your kid and give them a good education. But as a parent, if you let your child go to public school and something happens to them at public school, it is your fault. That's coming from a kid that went to public school, and my mom would take responsibility for the times that I went to school, okay? Even though I wanted to go and she wanted me to be homeschooled. So I'm living proof that I'm putting my money where my mouth is, okay? You cannot send your child out to a public government-run school and have these kinds of things happen, knowing that they happen. All right, maybe the first couple of times that it happened, it wasn't your fault. But we now know that the public school arena is so unhealthy and so unsafe for your children. You must pull your kid from public school to protect them. Whatever happens to your child until they are 18 years old, you are responsible for who you allowed them to be around and where you sent them. Bottom line, God holds you responsible, unfortunately.
It's more vile than raising your children in a pub. You wouldn't raise your children in a bar with those type of people. And
Right.
School is so perverted. The children's mind, the peer pressure is to be cool, to be perverted, to listen to rappers who say the worst, awfulest things. But we also have compassion. I had to put Leah and Michelle in school sometimes. I had to get a job and stuff. And so when they were willing and older than they were able to stay home, I went to work and my children are home by themselves, but the government doesn't know that. Okay? For 2 or 3 years, they educated themselves at home without a parent.
Yeah.
But it's safer than going to school. Now, in Germany, you're not allowed to homeschool your children. Right. Our own government sent kids back to Germany to be educated. They tried to get asylum here,
Right.
and Obama kicked them out.
Who took that family in? I can't remember. Switzerland? Someone took that family
But
in.
we have compassion on people who can't, but we always say, pray to God, pray to God, pray to God.
Our country won't allow in legal Christian refugees of conscience, but they let in illegal.
But I have to explain myself. There's a little thing going on in the chat, and people are saying that their governments are preparing them for civil war. Well, see, I heard of Cliff High last year, and I saw some of his videos. And I thought he was telling the truth, but then after I listened to him for a while, I realized his dad was CIA. He's CIA. Right. The globalist elite put out a magazine, and in the magazine, Cliff High is actually the hermit written in the magazine.
The cover of The Economist magazine.
Yeah. And then I saw that he was predicting all this stuff because he had the script.
Yeah.
And he predicted last year, like in April, in UK and in Sweden and all these European countries, they were supposed to go block by block having civil war last year. It fizzled out because Trump was elected. Now, the globalists didn't go away. Their plan didn't go away. They're starting it up again. So if you have these governments saying, be ready for civil war, well, you know the Bushes pay for both sides of the German war. They supported the Americans and the Europeans and against Hitler, but they also supported Hitler.
Right.
So when you see the Civil War, no, your government or the globalists are funding both sides. They're stirring up this trouble. They brought all these Islamists or Muslims into your country to do war.
Right.
And when people come to their door with guns, you're going to fight back for your life.
Right.
It's just self-defense. I mean, it's in us all to protect ourselves and to fight for our lives.
Yes.
And so it will happen. You will fight. Now, what you do is you realize you step back from the situation. You've got to go for the head. If you care about your country, you care about your nation, go for your leaders.
Don't
go
waste
for
your
Theresa
time.
May.
Right.
Go for these people. What's that other weird guy's name who started that war in Iran? And your UK, everybody hates him.
Tony Blair?
Tony Blair.
What's the name of that guy? That guy.
The House of Lords. There are leaders. You don't go after the civilians. Don't go after your Muslims. They're making the Muslims fight you, okay? They're getting paid. They're made stronger by all this good housing. They're made strong by good health care. They're made strong by the food they get to buy. They're strengthening these young men. So they can fight you. They're going to have to pay it back. These Muslims know this isn't free. They have to die with their lives. They're there. So, but don't go after them. Go after the heads. Go after the leaders.
Right.
And you can stop this war just like that.
I totally agree. Now, I want to, I know what I said, maybe I had a lot of force and a lot of, behind it. I don't want to sound so harsh, okay, and so accusatory, but it's the severity of the situation that makes me feel that way. I have a lot of compassion for people for whatever reason you just feel that you can't. And so what I would say out of compassion is take it before God, because I'm telling you, God will find a way. God will make a way for you to pull your child from the government-run school system, because it's not only your responsibility, but it's your gift. And most parents have had that gift stolen from them, because in society we have to have the 2-parent income, or we feel like our kid is going to miss out on the social aspect. If that's the social aspect, the kid's coming to school with a gun and killing other kids, and yet the other students described him as someone that was always cracking jokes. If that's the social aspect of school, do you not think that in our society, maybe in some sort of dream utopian society where we can all imagine, the sock hops and the fun, 1940s, whatever, in your, pipe dream of the public school system, maybe, okay? But that's not where we're at right now, and so you can't send your kids into a war zone. You just can't. And so I would encourage you guys out of love and compassion. And if you have any questions, email them to me, massfaith33@gmail.com.
Anyone can homeschool.
Anyone. Our mom could do it.
Anyone can homeschool.
And she was a single mother when we had no money. Zero. Okay? If she can do it, you guys can do it too.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I'm going to finish with this story. Speaking about Christians and children in schools. Dutch Christians don't want their children to visit mosques via school trips. A new study of Dutch religious education organizations says that 40% of Christian schools are regularly visiting mosques. The study was done after several parents complained about mosque visits for their children. Spokesman Robert Jan de Veers of Verus says that it looked interesting to do research of how many schools still have a bond with the church and if they are visiting religious facilities of other religions. While 40% of Christian schools are visiting mosques, several refuse to do so. Also, a lot of parents don't agree with their young children being forced to visit mosques for courses about Islam. During mosque visits, Christian children, I wouldn't mind a course on Islam. I just want the truth done, not from their point of view, from a real, true, historic point of view. Who Muhammad really was. About his little wife, child bride. During mosque visits, Christian children learn how to do Islamic prayers and other Islamic rituals. If parents protest, their children can do other assignments on Islam, like reading a book about it. Chairman of Verus, Lois Yapum, doesn't understand the commotion. According to her, it is something positive that children learn about other religions. And this is why you would take kids out of public school.
My kid ain't paying to know Allah.
Ja?
This is it. No.
Zo, blijf je maar zo, blijf je zo.
Keep bending down to Allah.
It's really hard to hear it, but
They think it's stretching class. You know what I want to see? Okay,
Go to church.
I want to see every Muslim country taking their kids to Christian church, taking communion to the blood and body of Jesus Christ,
and kneeling in Catholic church. We're not Catholic, but let's go with the ritualistic thing here. All right, that's where you're going to find that sort of thing. They should be doing that.
And the teachers are getting down. I ain't bending down to Allah. No, this is the devil worship. I can't even tell you. Look at their head. Put your forehead. How many stinky men's feet's been on there, too?
Oh, dang. Oh, dang.
Stinky men feet.
She did just go there.
You don't put your head... I don't care if it's socks. Socks are not clean, by the way. They still stink. That's why they call them stinky socks. This is disgusting and child abuse. Making a kid put their head on the carpet where other stinky socks have been of other stinky people. And it's not funny.
No.
Not funny.
It's not. It's not. It's really not, actually. It's awful.
So, wait. I'm going to tell you something. I think it was either Poland or Hungary. I think it was Poland or Hungary. Sorry. The prime minister was asked, I guess, by Saudi Arabia if they could build a mosque there. And he said, fund a mosque there. And they said, sure, when you allow us to fund a Christian church in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, why not?
Surezies.
I'm not brave enough as the Christian to go to that church because
I ain't brave enough to build it. No, Jack.
So one thing that we didn't cover was the earthquake that happened.
Boom.
There was a big seismic earthquake south of Alaska, lower part of Alaska.
I haven't heard of a tsunami hitting yet. They said there would be.
The tsunami didn't actually hit. It wasn't the type of earthquake that would actually have produced a tsunami, even though they thought. But it was a really big, I want to say it's like a 7.9 or 8.2 or something like that.
I got a song.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You think we can sing that? Did you practice it by yourself?
Echoing.
But
it's
did you practice it by yourself?
Yeah, Maddie and I singed it.
You singed it? Maddie.
I got a song this time. It came to my head.
Oh,
I love this song. You can echo me.
I will do the echo.
After all that, I was actually chopping vegetables. I have sausage stew.
No, but I walked in after a pet visit earlier, man. She had mushrooms and onions and sausage and carrots and celery and I don't know what else frying in that pan, and now it's in a stew, and it's just waiting there. It's sitting there, stewing.
So while I did, the song came to me. This is one of my favorite songs. I'm like, why haven't we sung this yet?
All right. Well, because we don't have the music to go with it.
You don't need it. It's kind of just a cappella.
A cappella.
Hail Jesus, you're my King.
Hail Jesus, you're my King.
Your life frees me to sing.
Your life frees me to sing.
And I will praise you all of my days.
I will praise you all of my days.
And proclaim that Jesus reigns.
And proclaim that Jesus reigns.
Hail, hail, Lion of Judah.
Hail, hail, Lion of Judah.
How wonderful you are.
How wonderful you are.
Hail, hail, Lion of Judah.
Hail, hail, Lion of Judah.
How powerful you are.
How powerful you are.
Hail Jesus, you're my Lord.
Hail Jesus, you're my Lord.
I will obey your word.
I will obey your word.
I want to see your kingdom come.
I want to see your kingdom come.
Not my will, but yours be done.
Not my will, but yours be done.
Hail Jesus, you're my King.
Hail Jesus, you're my King.
Your life frees me to sing.
Your life frees me to sing.
I will praise you all of my days.
I will praise you all of my days.
You're having a hard time.
You started it so high.
That's the way I sing it.
And I started it.
You started. I will echo you. Go ahead.
Hail Jesus, you're my King.
Hail Jesus, you're my King.
Your life frees me to sing.
Your life frees me to sing.
And I will praise you all of my days.
I will praise you all of my days.
You're perfect in all your ways.
You're perfect in all your ways.
Hail Jesus, you're my Lord.
Hail Jesus, you're my Lord. I will
praise. I think
I
I
will
wrong words there.
obey your word.
I will obey your word.
I want to see your kingdom come.
I want to see your kingdom come.
Not my will, but yours be done.
Not but my will, but yours be done.
Glory, glory to the Lamb.
Glory, glory to the Lamb.
You will take us into the land.
You will take us into the land.
And we will conquer in your name.
We will conquer in your name.
And proclaim that Jesus reigns.
And proclaim that Jesus reigns.
Hail, hail, Lion of Judah.
Hail, hail, Lion of Judah.
How wonderful you are.
How wonderful you are.
Hail, hail, Lion of Judah.
Hail, hail, Lion of Judah.
How powerful you are.
How powerful you are.
Hail Jesus, you're my King.
Hail Jesus, you're my King.
Your life frees me to sing.
Your life frees me to sing.
And I will praise you all of my days.
And I will praise you all of my days.
You're perfect in all your ways.
You're perfect in all your ways.
Glory, glory to the Lamb.
Glory, glory to the Lamb.
You will take us into the land.
You will take us into the land.
And we will conquer in your name.
And we will conquer in your name.
And proclaim that Jesus reigns.
And proclaim that Jesus reigns.
Hail,
hail, Lion of Judah. How wonderful you are. Hail, hail, Lion of Judah. How powerful you are. Hail, hail, Lion of Judah. How wonderful you are.
How wonderful you are. I love that song.
No, it is a really good song. I'm sorry I couldn't follow. It was so high to start
Work
off
it,
with.
girl.
I was trying to work it,
Work it, girl. You got a key change. I was afraid to take it up for you because you couldn't do the key change,
man. I'm sorry. But it was really fun.
That was fun.
You guys need to actually go and look that song up. Who's it by?
Well, it's by a lot of people. I like it by Nicole Mullen.
Her version of that is really, really fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
It's got a really great beat to it with a lot of music and echo and a whole church singing behind her. Do we have anything else?
Nope.
That's the end. Well, at least you had a song ready. I wondered why that was up. I saw it up.
I did have a song.
Yay!
I practiced it.
But you didn't tell me, man.
I figured it's an echo song. Well, how can you go wrong?
But when you start it higher than the person can sing it.
It's an echo. You just echo. Echo. I said, Kansas, do you want to echo the song with me?
Did he echo it that high?
He said, I said, Kansas, do you want to echo this song? He goes, do you want to echo this song? I said, that's funny.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So I want to take a chance to thank all of our moderators that were here tonight. Maia, Gary, Sooks, Kelly, poor Worth a Look, aka Justin. Earlier today, he's been working in the mornings, and he said, so you guys are going to go live tonight? He's been asking me for days, been missing it. And I said, yeah, we're going to go live tonight because Leah's got a lot of news. And since he's been working early in the mornings, he needed a nap. And he said, well, I know what I'll do, because he's so used to us going live at like 8 or 9. He's like, I'll sleep first. And then Leah decided to go, so he's going to wake up and be gutted, as they say in the UK. So unfortunately, we missed one of our mods.
Sleep.
He does need to sleep.
Justin, it's okay.
Thank you guys, our moderators who were here. Thanks for a lot of the contributors that send us links for us to cover. We really appreciate you guys. And if you did not get your comment read, we can't read them all, but there were some really good ones that went past
Please
here.
put your comment in the comment section at the end of this video when it goes live. We're also going to put this on Mass Faith 3.
We are still being censored. We still can't go live on Mass Faith 3, but hopefully it won't be the full 90 days.
We'll see. God knows. Please like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3, MASFAITH 3, and Resistance Chicks. Ryan, you're on right now. Ring the bell for notifications. Find us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter, Resistance Chicks on Twitter, Resistance Chicks on Facebook. We have a P.O. Box.
107, Milford, Ohio, 45150. You guys can write us your letters. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and do that one right now.
You should just say R. His name is R from India. And he cannot have his full name out there. And we'll tell you why.
And he will tell you why. And don't show any addresses here. All right. Dear Michelle, this is the first time I am writing you. I will not do my Indian accent, even though I really enjoy doing India. Should I do?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you must do it. You
Okay,
must.
dear Michelle, this is the first time I am writing you in a handwritten letter. I have been meaning to write you since the day I saw you for the first time. I think you remember me as R from YouTube. I cannot comment on your channel with my real name because of the PC culture in the USA and India as well. I have started my own manufacturing company in India and we are going to export to the USA in a very near future. If I comment on anything politically incorrect, it will be detrimental for my company's revenue in the future. Don't get me wrong, that's almost British there. I fully support you and your views on everything. Although I am from India, I really like to keep an eye on the American politics, and I really loved the recent events in American politics like Trump's presidency. I also agree with you on your new immigration policy about letting people in America who would actually contribute to the economy. I think Americans have every right to control who comes into your country. Anyway, how are you doing? How is your sister and your mother? I hope you guys... I'm trying! I'm so used to the UK. Give me a minute, I'm almost finished. I hope you guys had a... I hope you had a Happy New Year and you are doing fine. Happy New Year to you and your family. Regards, R. So thank you, R, for
your Indian accent's one of your best ones. So you slip in and out of it.
I've never actually
British
read
Indian.
something. My Indian accent is much easier to do if I'm doing it from my mind instead of from reading.
English comes from Britain.
It does. Instead of reading it from a letter. Okay, so cut me a little bit of slack.
India was colonized by the UK, which is why you would have British Indian British.
Adeline says, just slow down. It just flows out.
It kind of just faster when you are speaking from India. They speak.
Have you ever tried to call them the people on? I don't know if you people in the UK, all of your calls go to the India people.
I must say yes.
Here they go to the Indian people. They're beautiful people. They're very nice. I've had some very long conversations with the people from India trying to fix my computer. So I know them.
They are
intimately.
very good at fixing computers.
They are very good. Very, very good. Okay, so we're going to sign off. We love you guys. God loves you. God bless. We go live every Friday at
6 p.m. Eastern Time. Sundays for the UK and Euro News. Because the UK is not Europe, in case you didn't know.
That's true. That's very true.
I thought they were.
Now, I always go to make promises that I can't deliver. But I know that you guys really do count on us going live. So today is Wednesday. I would like to go live tomorrow because we didn't go live yesterday or on Monday. We had such a
great night tonight. You might just see us on Friday. We don't know what's happening. We may or may not.
We never know. Every day it's up in the air.
Up in the air.
The only thing that I can say for sure right now.
Actually, I would like to
I'm going to go eat that stew.
We might do a smaller segment on just Jordan Peterson. We'll see.
Yeah, because you had said something about that earlier.
Yes.
Thank you guys for being here. We love you guys. Resistance Chicks would not be the same
without you. We should call ourselves the long-winded ones.
We should. Oh, let me do a shout out. I don't think that he's going to watch, but every day we go to, not every day, but every day that we go to the gym, I take my uncle, you have to check in with your little membership card. And there's a guy there named Steven, and he says to me today when we checked in with our membership card, and I always see him, hey, Steven, how are you? And he said, so I have to ask you something. What's this I hear about? No, he didn't even say I hear. He said, what do you know about Resistance Chicks? And for 5 seconds, I'm like, what does this guy know about Resistance Chicks? Well, Uncle Jack's Pilates instructor had passed this along, so I gave him a card. And he said he was going to check it out. So, Steven, if you're watching, I hope you enjoyed this episode. So, all right, you guys. We love you. God loves you. God bless. And we'll see you back Friday for sure.
I was cold all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid. But you called my name.